Welcome to my channel. It's Picasso FX here. We're going to go over the weekly trade recap of this week, January 12th through the 16th, 2026. The first trade that was taken was January 13th. I didn't trade on Monday, and I always ask myself these three questions. What was the daily bias, why I took this trade, and what did I learn? So this is the process that I go through in terms of determining the weekly profile. Now, I was looking at a potential Monday low of the week. So I was looking if we could take out the high on Tuesday and continue to expand higher, because we also had SMT between ES and NQ. Now let's see what happened. So we actually ended up getting was price traded up above Monday's high, but then started to reject. So this is the first trade that I took. As you can see, it traded up. This is the data high. It traded through this gap and I immediately got stopped out. So then I had to wait and be a little bit more patient until I could understand what price was actually trying to do. Because normally when I see equal highs like this and it's doing this, worries me because it's telling me like, okay, it wants to come down just to come back up. But when I was observing price and seeing what exactly it was doing, I then was able to get on side, understanding that we're probably going to go, and this was Asia lows right here. So price breaks below this low aggressively, leaves a fair value gap, and that's where I entered on. I traded a little bit deeper and almost got stopped out on this one as well, but then was able to manage it as we traded lower. There's 3 entries there because I entered a sell and then I accidentally bought back. I meant to add more, and that's just what happened there. So that's why you only see 3 entries and 2 partials. So overall, it was a pretty good trade. I was able to remain calm after even taking a loss very quickly. Like almost as soon as I got in, I didn't even get to put a stop loss. I pretty much put my target up here and it got closed out immediately. So I just took the L and was like, let me just wait and see what happens. What did I learn on this? I think I learned more about myself in the process, and that I'm able to cool, calm, and collected during trades, and also understand that know what I'm exactly looking for. As I'm trading, there's certain signatures that I like to look for, and just being confident in having the process that the things that I've gone over, the training, the back testing, all the stuff that I've done has helped me come to the point where when I look at the charts, I can confidently take these trades, understanding that over the long run, I will be more profitable than not, and not putting so much pressure on every single trade that I take. Now we're going to go into the trade that I took on January 15th, 2026. What was the daily bias? Why I took this trade, and again, what did I learn? So this was the next trade that I took. So here we are on Thursday. Price had taken the sell side liquidity that I had been looking for since last Friday. It finally took it out, and then this is where we were. In my mind, I was like, okay, potentially we have a midweek reversal, which means that we would look to take out Tuesday's high. So it's a little bit of consolidation, midweek reversal. Let's see what happened. So what happened was price ended up going above there, running above Asia high right here, and then rejecting. So when I saw this deep retracement, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna come back up here. And obviously we didn't get that. So you can tell that my bias was bullish, and that's not what we ended up getting. So this is the trade. Why did I take these trades? Here's Asia's high. Remember I told you went up to Asia's highs, and eventually on the higher time frame we rejected. So what I was waiting for, I was not trying to buy up in here. I wasn't interested. They're the first presented fair value gaps right there. I like to wait for that to form and then start to make decisions based off of that, because if it starts to make sense to me, then I'll use it. I don't necessarily take a trade specifically off the first presented fair value gap. It's just a signature I like to wait for. So when you traded down here, we had just failed short of the upper quadrant of the opening range gap. And so when we fell short, and then showed this displacement above this high, I bought inside of this. And also as it came down into this breaker, I was okay with buying that. I got stopped out. I said, okay, I'm going to wait for displacement again. We trade below this low, price trades up again. I buy in this gap, I get stopped out again. So at that point, I'm like, I'm not interested. I understand we had a large range overnight. I'm closing my trades and I'm walking away. Granted, later on, ended up going lower, and I was wrong either way, and I'm okay. I accept that. So what did I learn in this trade? For me specifically, what I started to realize, I need to wait for this to come back down into a discount to buy. Even though I would have lost anyways, I was buying up in a premium and not in a discount, which is not what you want to do. I understand that when I'm getting hit with massive amounts of drawdown in my trades, that's immediately letting me know that I've bought in a premium or I've sold at a discount. That's what that tells me immediately. So I know that this is not ideal. Even if this was to win, that's what the thing that I would tell myself on this trade. And here's the last trade I took, January 16th, 2026. Again, what was the daily bias? Why did I take this trade? And what did I learn? So here, again, we were really far up back into the range again. So it wasn't really showing much here for me. So again, I'm like, okay, we still have the low from Wednesday and we have the high from Tuesday. So we're inside of that. And on the live stream, I think I can maybe tag it in here or put the card in here. I said we may not even take out either or because it's looking like it's consolidating to me. But I was looking to see if we could trade up above here if this gap was traded above, which we were at the time. And so in the Discord that I have, I was telling that I wanted to wait for a little bit more information just to see what was actually going to happen. So it ended up going lower and breaking lower. And as you see, we didn't take out the previous day's high or we didn't take out the previous day's low. So we stayed inside, which is making me think that Monday or Sunday night, Monday's a bank holiday, that we may get a quick run either direction because it was being held. We know that when we have inside days, the next day or the day after that, we're going to have a run. So that's just my thought process for moving forward. But let's talk about the trade. So my initial bias was higher. And when I started to see price not show those signs, that's what let me know that we wanted to trade lower. Okay, so if I'm seeing those signs of trading lower, how do I get involved? So here, this is a 5-minute fair value gap that price had traded up into. Definitely 5-minute fair value gap up here. But I think this was a fair value gap or it was an order block. I want to say a 5-minute order block that price had traded up into. On the 1-minute chart, we showed displacement here. We also showed that the bodies couldn't close inside of here. We displace again below these lows. And so here was a fair value gap. And actually, now that I have this, drew this up wrong. This is a suspension block, which is one of my favorite entry or PD arrays because this up here is a volume imbalance and there's a volume balance down there. So this should actually be drawn up there. And so I should have been entering on this trade. And once I realized that later on that a volume imbalance was there, I took this candle, up close candle, trading up into the suspension block as an order block. And so price ended up trading down, coming back up, and I sold on this candle inside of this order block and pretty much had no drawdown. That for me lets me know that my precision and timing elements were on par because I'm not sitting in drawdown. So price trades lower, it comes up into this wick, I add again, and price trades lower. Now in the stream, you see me put like a red line here that was halfway between my entry and my exit, which was, I was looking for Asia lows from I think the previous day. That's where this was. And we just didn't end up getting that. My stop loss was above here and it ended up coming back up here. That's just how trading is. You don't always get what you're looking for, but I'm glad about the execution and where I started to add on it in my trades. So what did I learn on this trade? I learned that being patient is also very important in trading, that you have to know when to sit on your hands and when to do nothing, have to know when to not chase price, let it come to you. And that's exactly what I did on this day. And also, I guess what I would want to do better, just looking at it, because you can always improve on your trades. Hindsight is always 20/20. Taking out the one contract here, which I normally do when it's halfway, I'll usually take off one and then wait for see if the rest can trade down here. But overall, I still think it was a really good trade. It was executed really well. And again, we move on to next week. So this is what I did this week. On Tuesday, I made 170. Thursday, I lost 344. It was actually 2 trades. I only took 2 trades, and all of these are pretty much one trade. You know how it works. If you take partials, it adds trades to it. That's 1 trade. That's 2 trades. This is not 4. So that just so we have an understanding of that. And on Friday, I made a whopping $37, right? So I have 2 funded accounts together. So this week or this past week lost 137. It's okay. That's just what happened this week. Thank you for watching. How did you guys do this week? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will catch you guys next week. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great day.